Okay, in this video we're going to practice a little bit more equation balancing. Let's look at our first one here. We've got ammonium nitrate breaks down to N2O and H2O. Now remember, for this one I need to make sure I'm counting both N's in both the ammonium and the nitrate. So I've got 243 on the left, 222 on the right. First thing I'm going to do is kind of attack the hydrogens. So I put the 2 coefficient there, that's going to change it to 242 on the right. Don't forget, got to count up the oxygens and increase them there. So I have 243 on the right, 243 on the left, balanced equation panda. Next up, aluminum plus sulfuric acid breaks down to aluminum sulfate and hydrogen gas. I have 121 for coefficients on the left and 223 on the right. First thing I'm going to do is kind of attach that sulfate there. Since I have 3 of them on the right, I'm going to make sure that I have 3 of them on the left as well. I'm going to do that. That's going to change my sulfates to 3 and my hydrogens to 6s. So I have 163 on the left, 223 on the right. I'm going to fix those hydrogens by putting a coefficient there. That's going to change it to 263. All I need to do is fix my aluminum there, and I am now balanced. Same left and right. Next up, iron plus water is going to make iron oxide and hydrogen gas. 121 on the left, 324 on the right. First thing I'm going to kind of do is take a look at those oxygens. Since I have 4 of them there and only 1 of them here, I'm going to put a coefficient out in front there. That's going to change my hydrogens to 8, my oxygens up to 4. However, I need to now fix the other side where I do not have enough hydrogens there, so I'm going to fix that by putting a 4 in front. That's going to change that to 384. And I'll just change the coefficient in front of my iron over here, and I'm now balanced. Balanced equation panda. Iron and oxygen is going to make iron oxide. I have 1 and 2 on the left, 2 and 3 on the right. In this case right here, the oxygens, I have 2 on the left and 3 on the right. There's no one number that will fix that. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to try to find the lowest common multiple. That's going to be 6. So I'm going to put 3 here on the left to bring it to 6 oxygens, put 2 on the right to bring it also to 6 oxygens. Of course, that's going to mess up the iron, bring it up to 4, but that's easily corrected by putting a 4 for the coefficient right there. I am now balanced. All right, potassium chlorate breaks down to potassium chloride and oxygen, 113 on the left, 112 on the right. Again, I'm going to have that same problem with the oxygens. I need to find the lowest common multiple for both of them. That, of course, is going to be 6. So I'm going to put a 2 on the left there. That's going to change a couple things. And I'm going to put a 3 on the right over there to change my oxygen up to 6. So that's now going to change that to 226 on the left, 116 on the right. But that's easily fixed with the 2 coefficient for the potassium chloride. And bam, balanced equation panda. Now I'm going to have propane plus oxygen is going to break down to carbon dioxide and water. 382 on the left, 123 on the right. Remember, with oxygens, that's going to be a little bit weird because I have an oxygen here and an oxygen there. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to deal with the carbons. I have 3 on the left, might as well get 3 on the right and start it off with that. That's going to change it to 382 on the left and 3238. Because remember, got to add together both of them. So that's going to bring that to 10 on the right. That needs to be balanced out with a 5 there for the oxygen, and I am now balanced. A little bit tricky one. Had to play around with my coefficients. Didn't even get it right the first time. Balanced equation. Next up, I'm going to have ethane plus oxygen makes carbon dioxide and water. 262 on the left, 123 on the right. I'm going to put a 2 in front of this carbon right here. Since I have 2 carbons on the left, might as well get 2 on the right as well. But of course, that's going to mess up my oxygens. Giving me 5 of them on the right, then I have to deal with that. The hydrogens needs to be fixed. I'm going to need to get 6 hydrogens here to balance out with that. That's going to change my oxygens, bring that up to 7. Now, the only way I could really fix this is by putting 3.5 there. Now, you might think that's a little bit weird, but 3.5 would bring this up to 7 oxygens. Everything else would be balanced. This is going to be one of those occasions where, in order to get rid of this decimal, I'm going to have to double everything here. When I double that, it's going to convert everything into an integer. So I'm going to put a 2 right there. Going to change that from 3.5 up to 7. Going to change the 2 to a 4, and change this 3 over here to a 6. Now, double all of these. And I'm going to be left with 4, 12, 14 on the left, and 4, 12, 14 on the right. because I got 6 and 8. That's an add up to make 14 right there. So that's one of those occasions where the only way to fix it would be with a fractional amount. Just double it to get rid of the fraction and bring down the balanced equation, Panda. Copper sulfide plus oxygen is going to make cupric oxide and sulfur dioxide. 212 on the left, 213 on the right. Because remember, I'm adding 2 there plus 1 there. The only way I could really fix this, because everything else is good, is if I change that to be just 1.5. 1.5 would solve all these problems. But again, we don't want a fractional amount. The thing that I'm going to want to do, as I would before, is do that doubling. Essentially double everything that I got right there. Change that to a 2, change that to a 3. This goes to a 2, and this goes to a 2. By doubling it, I was able to take care of those little decimals in front there, and I now have a balanced equation. 426 on the left, 4, 2, and don't forget, 2 plus 4 is going to be 6 on the right. Bring down the balanced equation. All right, aluminum plus lead nitrate is going to break down to be lead and aluminum nitrate. 112 on the left, 113 on the right. So everything seems to be good except for those nitrates. And I'm going to need to do something that's the lowest common multiple for these. So I'm going to put a 2 in front right there. See how that changes things over there. And I'm going to need to put a 3 in front here to make sure that I have the same amount of nitrates. So 116 on the left. That's also going to affect my nitrate. Now, to fix the lead, I'm going to have to put 3 right there and then balance out the aluminum. I am now balanced. 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 6 on the left, 2, 3, 6 on the right, balanced equation. Sodium plus water is going to make sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. 1, 2, 1 on the left, 1, 3, 1 on the right. Don't forget, I need to include the hydrogen here as the gas and as part of the hydroxide right there. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this by putting the 2 in front for the coefficient there. That's going to increase my sodium, but it's also going to take care of some of the other issues there I have with the hydrogen. 242 on the right. Then I need to put a 2 right here to bring up those hydrogens. Now that's going to be 142, and I can fix that by putting that last coefficient in front of the 2 for sodium. I now have a balanced equation for this one as well. All right, last one right here, C12H22O11 plus oxygen is going to break down. This is actually a combustion reaction. It's going to make carbon dioxide and water. Now this one right here, I have 12, 22, and don't forget I need to include this 11 plus that 2 right there, so that's going to be 13 total. On the right, I got 1, 2, 3. First thing I might as well start by doing is attacking the carbons, making sure that those are balanced out. Then I put 12 right there, so that's going to change, of course, my carbon to be where it should be. But the oxygen, it's now going to be this 1 here plus these 24 right there is going to bring that up to 25. Obviously, we need to fix that because that's not going to be totally correct. I'm going to start by hitting up the hydrogens. I need to get to 22 hydrogens here. Might as well start by putting 11 in front of that right there. That's going to bring it to 12 and 22, and all is good. And I need to add up my oxygens now. That's going to be 11 plus 24. I actually have 35 oxygens on the right. On the left, I only have 13. So to get to there, I'm going to need to do a little bit of addition to get to 35. Essentially what I need here is I am 22 oxygens short. So I'm going to put a 12 multiple there. That's going to be 11 plus the 24 right there. That's going to get me up to 35. A little bit more complicated. I was 22 short. I don't want to multiply it by 11. I actually want to multiply it by 12 because you need to include that original one right there. Balanced equation. Next up, respiration. Everyone's favorite one. I've got 6, 12, 8 on the left. Don't worry about the energy ATP. We don't need to balance that. And I have 1, 2, 3 on the right. So a little bit of balancing. I'm going to need to put the 6 in front right there. That's going to fix my carbons, but my oxygen's going to be a little bit messed up. I got 12 and 1 right there. I need another 6 to get those hydrogens to balance out. Now I have 6, 12, and I actually have 18 on the right. Over here on the left, I need 10 more oxygens. And remember, I don't want to multiply it by 10. In this case, I want to multiply it by 6. So 6 plus 12 is going to get me to the 18 that I need. 6, 12, 18 on the left, 6, 12, 18 on the right. I'm good. Balanced equation, Panda.